Um, but yeah, thank you very much for joining us. The reason I was so keen to do this is to really give a platform to Manchester-based businesses within the Manchester-based tech scene. As someone who's been in Manchester for a year now, has seen so much change already and so much excitement within the tech ecosystem. Wanted to go and have conversations with people within sort of the local area. So thank you very much for joining us, Paul. Really appreciate you letting us use the amazing offices, and obviously it's always good to catch up, mate. But yeah, I think maybe if I start us off, be good to maybe introduce yourself, the company you work for, and sort of what your role entails.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm Paul Heath. I am head of data here at Classic Football Shirts, based out of Manchester. So we essentially specialise in sourcing and selling of vintage and current season football kits from around the world. You'll find the most spurious one on our website, and yeah, we sell it.
Yeah, amazing. Obviously, as two football fans, there, it was exciting to be in this. So, with regards to your role, then, so obviously you've been here nearly a year now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, nearly a year.
Yeah, and how's it been? Obviously, coming into a company where maybe like data wasn't at the forefront initially, and getting into a position where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, my role as head of data is very varied, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, when I first joined, it was very much setting out the stall,
Yeah.
setting the strategy, looking at all the different bits that needed to be worked on and improved, so therefore we can grow and we can scale. So my role entails strategy, governance, security, systems and data, and reporting and analytics. And we have a very small but performant team here in Manchester,
Yeah.
based of BAs, data engineers, people who look after and create reports.
Yeah, amazing. And as we said, it's a Manchester-based business, so that always plays with the heartstrings with the lads who started it as well.
Oh, absolutely. Being local business, local founders, and again, the growth here within Manchester and also not only within the UK, but in the US as well, has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's obviously great to see you doing well. And obviously, as a bit of a fanboy of somebody who's followed classic football shirts for a while, it's always good to be in and around it. But I was really keen to understand around sort of your introduction to technology and how you sort of started off on the path not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long. We were having this conversation the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I've been working now for 30 years in totality, which is just crazy. And in that time, I started off very much not in tech.
Okay.
Yeah, my dream was always to be an accountant, as boring as that may seem. And I went down the accountancy route.
Okay.
And I finished up being a cost accountant in Birmingham, looking after 3 manufacturing sites. And then because of that detail to data, and numbers and figures and everything else that go along within that role, I sort of transitioned more into reporting. And then from a reporting angle, using Cognos, went back into data warehousing, which is really strange. So accountancy, reporting back to the data, shaping the data in a data warehouse. And from there, it was very much, I knew after I'd done the reporting and the data warehousing that this is something that I wanted to carry on with. So I then went into consultancy.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. Because so that just proves then that there doesn't have to be that set career path.
Completely, it doesn't. It doesn't,
Some
right?
people are very much like you have to go to university. It has to be a hobby to start with.
No,
But like
definitely
like
not.
there's loads of many different routes into it.
Absolutely, and we've got someone on secondment at the moment that has a real passion for data. Yeah, and as long as you've got the aptitude, then why not?
Yeah.
And that's where you want to take your career.
And was there anything from your background now, from anything from your background then that really sort of lends itself to what you wanted to go into, or assuming for?
Yeah, I've again, right, come from a accountancy background, just that head for numbers, figures, process, business process, I guess is where it all comes from. And that really does help within a data environment, to be being able to understand business process, and also the numbers and figures behind it, and have that eye for detail is what you need with data, right?
Amazing. Then you went into that consultancy world following that, and I'd imagine that would have given you loads of skills that would probably potentially lend itself to what you're.
Oh, completely. And, I've been lucky in that respect of, one, being in that consultancy world, working for Microsoft Gold Partners,
Yeah.
SAP, Oracle Gold Partners, getting that breadth of tech, but also the breadth of different businesses and all the challenges that come along with each business. Definitely helped to where I am today.
Amazing. And then I think one of the things I've always been really interested in is how's like the journey of like starting in tech, so like the leadership, the role you're in now, how has that been, and so how does that come about? Because obviously going into leadership positions aren't for everyone.
No, they're not. And most people either go down to a leadership or just stop within that sort of tech boundary, so to speak. For me, I guess it was just the evolution of where I've come from. I've been through consultancy. I've been a junior consultant. I've been a standard principal consultant. When you work within a consultancy, you play different parts on every project. So sometimes I'd be the report guy, other times I'd be the data engineer, other times I'd take a bit more of the PM role. So, through all those roles that I'd taken, it sort of shaped me into that leader's position that I guess that I always wanted to have.
And I suppose that gives you more strings to the bow then, throughout your career, like, so it gives you more in the arsenal. And is it, you've just touched on it, is it something you always wanted to do then? You could always see yourself to.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, again, through evolution of where I wanted my journey to go was always to where I am now, right? Being head of data, and maybe even future CDO or CTO even.
And is there anything you would have done differently throughout the journey then?
No. And that is, I think everyone's journey is personal to them.
Yeah.
And across that journey, you make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes, but it's about learning from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes you grow as a person. And I definitely have made loads of mistakes. loads of mistakes. I won't say what they are on video, of course.
Stitch yourself up.
Truncate table. But yeah, it's, I think you need to make those mistakes to grow as an individual, and through the mistakes I've made is probably how I'm here today in the position I hold.
So leading into that then, what would you say, so we're not looking for mistakes too negative, what have been the biggest challenges then throughout the career? Maybe potentially more like looking from that transition from like an individual contributor to when you're responsible for people and leading them.
You always make mistakes. You always make errors. You're never going to get it right first time around. And again, it's about, and I say it to my staff, look, I don't mind you making mistakes. I don't mind you failing. We fail fast. We learn from it and we pick ourselves up when we go. It's not a negative. I think of it as a positive in that respect. And yeah, I'm thinking back to some of the mistakes I made, around staff and, probably open transparency, too much transparency to, keeping things confidential and, just making sure that I'm there for them. And that's essentially what I do within my role, right? I look after, I mentor, I make sure that we're working on the right things at the right time that are going to let me and grow us as a business.
Because being a leader, the important thing is you are the person they look to
Correct.
You have to have the highest standard, but also like they look to you to help progress them. I'm sure when you look back at your career, you'd have had people who you reported into who would have helped you get to where you are now. So like knowing that is really important for helping people progress.
Absolutely. It's not only is it a key part of the role, but me as a person or any person, head of data, it's key to have that empathy, that, that wanting to build those relationships with your team and make them grow.
Yeah. Nice. And then is there any advice you have to someone looking to get into a similar position as you? Because there's a certain amount of head of data roles going about. Is there anything you feel like, that really helps me in my career to make me into the position I'm in now?
Don't run before you can walk.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a race, right? So, you are where you are in your career at the right point in time. only you know when you're ready for that next step. Or don't take it too early. It's better to stop in the position you're in, learn a bit more before you take that next step. Stay curious, enjoy the challenge that the role brings.
I think that's a really good point. Some people want to be ahead of us really, really quickly, but without that life, because there are some people who have done really, really well and gotten to it really quickly, but they're probably more the outliers. Some people who want to get to that too quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So definitely look for the challenges, stay curious, build relationships, look to mentors to help you go, make that journey, go on a journey with you.
Yeah, amazing. And then so moving into Manchester,
Yeah.
there's two people who are not from Manchester, come from
Exactly.
kind of. I'm down south. You're Midlands, and still.
Yeah. Still got the accent.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't lost it. We haven't got the Manc accent yet, but just keen to understand about your journey into Manchester. So it's something I'm really passionate about, to give. Not that Manchester really needs it, because everyone's talking about it, to give it a bit more platform to people sort of from outside.
No, completely. So I've been within Manchester, working within Manchester now for the last 10 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, 9 years with Fanatics just up the road, and then a year here with Classics. And over that time, I've seen the change.
Yeah.
I've seen the communities grow. I've seen, the culture change. I've seen tech come in where it wasn't here before. It's a great thing to see from a Manchester perspective.
Because where were you before Manchester? Just for I know, just for the.
Yeah, so I mean, prior to Manchester, I was a contractor, a consultant. I worked all around the country, worked with the NHS. Be that in London or be that up here in Chester.
What has it been like seeing the city grow? Not just from a tech perspective, but also I hear stories all the time from my friends in around here saying, like, 5 years ago, you couldn't have no skyline. So what do you remember it from when you first moved up here 10 years ago?
Very flat. You see the buildings come up around you. The regeneration has just been on a massive scale, completely massive scale. In my previous job, we were in this building. It was all open on day one. After 3 years, there was flats everywhere.
Yeah.
And office buildings you drive in every morning and it's different, bro.
Yeah. And said over that 10-year period, it must have been so interesting to see and so interesting to watch that growth.
Yeah, completely. And just see the types of businesses moving into the Manchester area, right? Yeah, where before you talk to other tech companies and they say, right, we've got an office in London. And then for them to come up here, so therefore you could actually just walk down the street and have meetings with them instead of having to hike it down. Is just.
No, it's amazing. I've been here a year and the buzz is unbelievable. And is there any old spots that you miss that aren't around anymore with all of the growth?
Hard to say, really. Not being from Manchester, apart from a fair few nights out, it's pretty much this is the office space for me.
Yeah. And what do you feel makes the Manchester tech scene so special?
The people.
Yeah.
I've worked all around the country. The northwest and the northern people are just amazing.
Yeah.
Bunch of people to start with. The community spirit within Manchester itself, I've seen that grown over the last 10 years. To us doing this now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would this have happened 10 years ago? No, definitely not. It's that spirit that we've got within Manchester, and everyone just willing to talk and help each other out.
Yeah. No, I massively agree. I've never experienced. I've worked a lot across the south of the UK from a recruitment perspective and in the tech community, and I've never experienced a community so intertwined. But everyone's willing to help everyone. Even like different parts of the community, different technologies, different levels. Everyone's willing to have a conversation and help everyone.
Oh, completely.
And even the people who have moved to Manchester are so proud of being part of that Manchester tech scene. So even if you're not born and bred, you have that sense of belonging within it. So yeah, I massively agree. And again, there's real excitement and proudness to be in and amongst it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree 100%.
And just over the 10-year period then, has it always felt like this now, or has it been has it always been that upward trajectory? Is it?
I'm trying to think back
Yeah.
to pre-COVID, and yes, it was there. Then COVID hit, and we all changed for 3 years,
Yeah.
and it's starting to come back. Definitely over the last year, I've definitely felt.
Since I came up here.
Yes, since you came, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, you made the change. I definitely feel that spirit coming back. I think that those 3 years are lost years for Manchester.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends who, people I've spoke to and within the community have all said, like, yes, Manchester always had that proudness, but like now, right here over the last year, it really feels like it's about to kick on again to another level.
Completely.
And what do you feel makes Manchester different from the other tech hubs of like London, Silicon Valley, like the Lead, all of these other ones that people talk about?
Again, right? I think people in the north are just on a different scale to the people in London for a start. But not only that, I think Manchester is the northwest hub, right, for tech, and you can see that with the companies investing in this area, they're doing it for a reason, and that is one for the culture, it's for the people, it's the affordability as well, right? You've got to think how much it costs to be down in London versus being in the northwest, which is helping just shape us as a tech hub overall.
Yeah, and I think there's a massive catchment area as well, isn't there? Across Manchester, and it's very connected. There's a lot of people in the sort of the outskirts, Greater Manchester, and the transport's pretty good.
Yeah, the transport's good, right? I live near Chester, so for me, transport's fine to come in. Either via motorway or via public transport is pretty good.
And you touched on it as well, like the people of culture. Is there anything else you think makes us unique within the sort of the Manchester tech community and ecosystem?
Good question. The music, the music scene's always a good one.
Yeah, amazing. And pretty sure we haven't got a crystal ball, but where do you see it currently heading then? From a community perspective, obviously you see the COVID with the lost years now is sort of back in the flow thing. Where do you see like the next steps for the Manchester tech community then, with a lot of investment in the area and people excited?
Yeah, I think you can see it, right? Yeah. And you can see what's happened again over the last year and what's on the horizon for 25 and probably 26. The communities are growing completely. The companies are coming into this area and investing in this area. The talent in this area is really good, so it can only get bigger and better.
Amazing. And from a tech perspective then, what sort of excites you for the future at this current time?
There's a lot that excites me. What I'm going to say, AI.
I didn't want to say.
Yeah, no one wanted to say it. It's an overly used word, but has massive impact, not only for data, right, but for the rest of businesses out there and how they use it and how they integrate it. And it's moving at such a pace at the moment, and you can't keep up with it, right?
No.
We can't keep up with it. We're using it. We've implemented it. We have it in 3-4 areas at the moment, but we will grow that over the coming years.
And I don't think there'll be an industry not affected by AI.
Correct.
But at the minute, people don't really know. I think the majority of people don't really know what they want to do with it or how to do it. But they understand that they need to. So I think normally it's a case of people understand the how and the what, and then they get the need after. Whereas at the minute, just AI just flipped everything on its head.
Oh, completely. Absolutely. That is the biggest buzzword in 10 years, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, no, I agree. Except for contracts when people talk about IR35.
Yeah, IR35, of course. Yeah.
And what are your sort of tech predictions for the rest of 2025 then?
Yeah, so again, Rob, we've just touched on one of them being AI, being a massive one. I feel like there's going to be a bit of a shift in cloud, maybe, and where cloud's going, and maybe there may be a bit more shift back to on-premise. From the people I've spoke to, it's definitely on the cards for certain companies out there.
Amazing. And then the last question from me is, what advice would you give to someone in the tech community moving to Manchester then, or considering moving to Manchester?
Do it. It's a no-brainer. It's a great place to be. The people aren't only great, but the culture's here, and the opportunity to grow. You know, you look at the job market within Manchester, you look at the variety of positions on offer.
Yeah,
it's there for people to take.
And I think sometimes when people, like from the outside looking in, they can maybe think they missed the boat. Like the boat hasn't even left yet.
Nah,
it's
definitely not.
There's so much more opportunity, and so I'm absolutely buzzing to be part of it. And yeah, great to see that you are as well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
But other than that, mate, I really appreciate your time. So thank you very much for
My
sitting
pleasure.
down with me. And yeah, thank you very much.